This breaking news this afternoon, a very close call for one driver parked at a coffee shop drive-thru in North Omaha. We head out to our Johan Marin now, who joins us live from the Scooter's Coffee from 30th and Ames where this happened. Now, Johan, we heard the driver was trapped in his car for quite some time.
Yeah, Jacqueline, it was about 20 minutes that he was actually trapped inside the building. But let me tell you how it happened. You know, if you just take a look at the scene right now, there's still lots of debris. But when authorities got here at 2 p.m., they say the person was in the drive-thru when a box truck was driving through the parking lot, and the front end of the truck got stuck to the awning of the building. And that's when the awning actually fell right onto the car that was in the drive-thru. Now, they say that the person that was in the car is completely okay right now, but he was taken to the hospital for further evaluations.
Yeah, Johan, I just can't imagine being the person in the car. Thankfully, they are all right. Now, tell us a little bit about the employees and customers inside the building. Are they okay?
Yeah, they're doing okay as of right now. They were just a little frightened, of course. I would be too if I was inside there. But yeah, everybody was okay, employees. And right now, one thing they did say is that inspectors did see the building. The building isn't going to get demolished. The part that was partially collapsed, they're just going to fix it and renovate it. But it's going to be closed for some time soon. But the time that's going to be closed is unclear right now.
All right, Johan, thank you so much for bringing us this breaking news this afternoon. We appreciate your coverage.